सदाशिव समारंभां
सदाशिव समारंभां
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
शंकराचार्य मध्यमाम्
अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां
मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां
वंदे गुरु परंपराम्
वंदे गुरु परंपराम्
वसुदेव सुतं देवं
वसुदेव सुतं देवं
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
कंस चाणूरमर्दनम्
देवकी परमानंदम्
देवकी परमानंदम्
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्.
कृष्णं वंदे जगद्गुरुम्.
And now we'll say the prarthana, the seventh shloka of second chapter. कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभावः
कार्पण्य दोषो उपहत स्वभावः
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेताः
पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढचेता
यत् श्रेयस्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
यच्छ्रेयः स्या निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम्.
So Arjuna is saying, Bhagavan, I'm deluded. I need the guidance for what is the Shreyas. And that's what we all are going to any program like this, which is spiritual elevation or adhyatma or swadhyaya. That is the purpose, right? Or any good read, other than what Manoranjan we do. This is what we all seek, that Bhagavan guides us, our buddhi towards Shreyas. And we get deluded during the day, during the life, many times. So that's what Arjun has gone through. And I will say the 12th sloka of 12th chapter, which is the summary of the entire teaching. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat
श्रेयो हि ज्ञान अभ्यासा
jnanat dhyanam vishishyate
ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते
dhyanat karma phalatyagah
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
tyagat shanti anantaram.
त्यागः शान्ति अनन्तरम्.
So this is the essence of or summary of the entire teaching. And Arjun's question was that guide me towards Shreyas. In response to that, Bhagavan told the entire Bhagavad Gita. But if we cannot read entire Bhagavad Gita, this shlok 12, is the summary of Bhagavad Gita. No, all that, not only Bhagavad Gita, any teaching. Abhyas, and they start with the Abhyas, and the goal of that is Shanti, Anantaram, uninterrupted or permanent peace. That's our goal. But the condition is that we have to start with Abhyas. And then Abhyas and Gyan, Dhyan, and then Karma Phal Tyag is a resultant. We don't see, we now, in one of the sessions, we are going through Karma Yoga, and a lot of questions come when we talk about Karma Yoga. A lot of people have, I all the time, whenever I talk about Karma Yoga, people have first question, if we don't focus on Phal result, then how we get motivated to do Karma? And this is like this mind-boggling for people. This kind of what are the Bhagavan is saying? But see, that's the reason we have to go through Bhagavad Gita and in entirety. Then we understand what Bhagavan is. Like ek shlok mein likh diya karmanyavadhikaraste ma. That doesn't answer things. That creates some more questions, which is good. We should have questions, but then so the ultimate what 12 shlok we say Tyagat karma phalatyaga, karma phalatyaga shanti anantaram. The only way we can get peace is when the karma phal tyag, you don't do it. Anyway, tyag is not to be done. Tyag is a resultant of sadhana. So that's another wrong statement we floating around. Tyag karo, tyag karo. No, you don't do tyag. You either do bhakti or do sadhana, and tyag happens. We give example of freedom fighters. Freedom fighters are not doing like people. They gave their life. No, they're not doing. They loved their country. There was a desh bhakti. There is a patriotism. Life is very secondary for those people. So similarly, in Adhyatmic sadhana also, we don't have to worry about karma phal, ye chodenge, sannyas. So sannyas is the resultant. Just focus on the sadhana. That's what Bhagavad Gita is about. So anyway, so I think that's what the shlok is, the essence of all the teaching. So we are back to 13th chapter. We'll conclude 13th chapter today, almost at the end of this chapter. But as I said in the beginning, in the second chapter, Shlok 11 to 30, Bhagavan has talked about Deha Dehi. And there he talked about mostly about Atma. And very smart teacher, in the beginning itself, Bhagavan told Arjun, the starting is Atma Gyan. Starting. And the reason is, see, sometime when we go and suppose I had to buy something or I had to make a trip, then the advertisement shows you the best. You want to go to Disney World, they'll show you the best of video of Disney World. And you say, oh, this is what I want to see that. So that's the first Bhagavan Arjun बताया कि you are not the body, you are Atma. And then Arjun said, oh, I want to know, who am I? How do I realize Atma? And he said, okay, let's start the journey. So that's the good teacher. And without any confusion in that entire Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan brought Arjun to that realization. And last week I was in, like, some of us were then in a Hindu Mandir conference in Dallas. There were like more than 70 Mandir priests and some community leaders and devotees were there. And one of the person from Tampa, he gave an example which I always use, that Steve Jobs memorial service, he gave a book, autobiography of a yogi. And the essence of book is self-realization. And the purpose Steve Jobs wanted to give this book to his friends, who were mostly technical people or celebrities. He himself realized after having everything, something is missing. And that is self-realization. Who am I? Atma Gyan means self-realization is Atma Gyan. Or Sankhya naam diya, but Atma Gyan. Who am I? Is like that. So सब करने के बाद अगर ये नहीं बचा, तो ये नहीं जाना कौन है, तो then unexamined life is not worth living. There is a quote, right? At the end of the life, you think, oh, I didn't examine the life. It is not worth living. It's a waste of time. You wasted your years. So that's what Bhagavan gave Arjun first time, Atma, like what is Atma. And only one shlok, two shlok there. One shlok he says that Deh has three stages. Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara. Means you're young, then you become old, like adult, and you become old. And then one more shlok he says, which is 27 shlok of the second chapter. Jatasya hi dhruvam mrityu, dhruvam janmratasya cha, tasmat apariharyarthe natu shochitim arhasi. He's saying, Arjun, jatasya hi dhruva, jatasya means dehasya hi. We have to replace that. Jat means being born. Jat shabd, being born is Jat. And Deh is born. Atma is never born. So Bhagavan is saying कि देह जात मीन्स पैदा हुई है तो उसकी मृत्यु निश्चित है. ध्रुवम मीन्स निश्चित है. So Arjun, you don't have to worry about Deh. The purpose was of that shlok is to remove the body identification. All our problem is body identification, and that is, our Shastra said, that is Agyan. More we are focused. One of our Acharya, I know, he says that somebody asked him, even my own Guruji, he never used to do lot of Surya Namaskar, 1000, 5000, कुछ नहीं करते थे. Like he was just doing some walking, minor pranayam, 5 minutes, that's it. And people ask, आप कुछ योगा वोगा करते नहीं हो? So very, very nice answer he gave. One Jain Muni also gave the same answer. He said, more you do about body, more you're identified with the body. And that is Agyan. The whole purpose of this sadhana is to rise above the body. And you are again focus on bodybuilding. And slowly, you start getting into the identification. I mean, they are thinking at very high level, but they're right, actually. So let's not spend too much time on body. It's like, that's what Bhagavan is saying. Jatasya dhruva mrityu. Arjuna, so only two shlok about Deh in second. Remaining all 18-19 shlok about Atma. And then there was Shlok 24, right? That Shlok says, Achedyo ayam adayo ayam akledya ashoshe evacha Nityah sarvagata sthanur achalo ayam sanatana. This Atma cannot be burned, cannot be wet, cannot be dried. It is sanatana. There is no beginning, there is no end. And there is no vikar, there is no change in the Atma. And it doesn't even move. Achal, it doesn't move. It's always there. We'll see in this. And that's why I'm referring back. So there Bhagavan told, but he talked about Atma. And as I said, those 19-20 श्लोक and this 13th chapter is like a higher model of the same. वहाँ जो मॉडल भगवान ने बताया था उसका थोड़ा लग्जरी वर्जन है और लिटिल हायर वर्जन, like what you read in high school or undergrad program, when you do the PhD or masters, you read the same thing but in a very different level. So this chapter is a master's program of exactly Deh Dehi. Here the term Bhagavan is used Kshetragya. Kshetra means Deh, body. Kshetragya means Atma. वहां पर यूज किया देह मीन्स बॉडी, देही मीन्स आत्मा. Exactly the same. But this is a little higher. So entire shlok. And Arjun also very smartly asked question because Arjun was educated. So in this shlok, in this chapter, Bhagavan has brought some other darshan which Hindu have, like 5-6 darshan. So Sankhya also he brought it, and then Gye Vigyan also he brought it. And of course, Advaita also has come. So in this chapter, Bhagavan has covered all those philosophies or darshan in 13th chapter. Very, very, very detailed chapter. We have to read many times. But one more thing I want to say, and then we'll move forward. After this, Bhagavan is not going to talk about Gyan at all. Abhi 14th chapter will be Triguna, is all lifestyle. 14th, 15th is a very different chapter. Bhagavan, for a reason, he brought it, is all about Bhakta. 16 is all about what happens after 14. 14 means Sattvagun. Sattvagun ke baad kya hoga? 17 is same, extension of 14th chapter. What type of Shraddha you will have. And 18 is summary of all Bhagavad Gita. So this is the end of Gyan teaching. अगर किसी को भगवद गीता में, if really we want to know what the self-realization or Atma-Gyan, this is it. इसके बाद भगवान is not going to talk about this. He says, now I'll not, enough, I have told you enough. सेकेंड चैप्टर में बता दिया, 13 में एकदम क्लियर कर दिया, मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम डन, यू गॉट द डिग्री. नाउ ऑनवर्ड्स, 14 ऑनवर्ड्स, यू इम्प्लीमेंट दिस इन योर लाइफ. ज्ञान तो मिल गया, अभी इम्प्लीमेंट कैसे करना है. सो इट इज लाइक accumulation and assimilation. So I gave enough, now assimilate. So we'll see at 14th onward. But this is the last time Bhagavan is going to give the Gyan. Wonderful, like last 4-5 shlok. So last time we read 27. We'll repeat that and move forward to the conclusion. Kshetragya. Wonderful term Bhagavan has used. Kshetra means body. Kshetragya means the one who knows the body. Body, mind. Body in the sense, not just talking about the physical. Body means everything material. Body means everything material. The one who knows this material world, that is Kshetragya. Kya means the Gyan, the knower. So we'll just repeat 27 and move forward. 27 is, some books it is 28, some is 27. But the shlok is, Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwarah.
समम सर्वेषु भूतेषु तिष्ठन्तं परमेश्वरं
Vinashyastu avinashyantam
विनश्यत्व सविनश्यन्तं
यह पश्यति स पश्यति.
यह पश्यति स पश्यति. इस प्रकार जानकर जो पुरुष नष्ट होते हुए सब चराचर भूतों में नाश रहित परमेश्वर को समभाव से स्थित देखता है, वही देखता है.
Wow.
He who sees the Supreme Bhagwan abiding equally in all beings as the imperishable among the perishable, he sees.
Yeah, so we closed last time with that story of Ram Namdev, which got hold of the dog and gave him bati and add ghee to the bati. And somebody was thinking he is going to snatch the bati from the dog. He said, no. Are Bhagwan, aap bina, he says, Are Bhagwan, bina ghee ke bati kaise khaoge? Dog ko he's saying. And because he is not seeing the dog as a body, he's seeing that same Atma in himself and the dog. And that's why Bhagavan said, Yah vinashyanstu. This body is vinashyastu, means it is going to be destroyed. Avinashyantam, the which is not, cannot be destroyed. That is the Atma. This body, everything in this world, material world, has a expiration date. Everything. The only thing which is not expiring is avinashantam, which is Atma. So this person, the person who sees in everything that avinashi Atma, which cannot be destroyed, that person only sees. इसके लिए हम लोग सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित्. Pashyantu is not seeing with these eyes. Pashyantu is seeing with the intellect, that Chaitanya, that Sakshi, that awareness. Which awareness? Untended awareness, unconditional awareness, pure awareness. When I see with that, then I see. So you cannot just, हम लोग तो ब्लाइंडली पूरे टाइम बोलते रहते हैं, कहीं भी कोई भगवान सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, वो बाद में झगड़ा, 5 मिनट में झगड़ा करते हैं फिर उन्हीं लोगों से जिनके साथ प्रेयर खड़े होकर बोलते हैं हम लोग मंदिर में. So we don't say the prayer because we don't understand the prayer. The prayer is saying, Pashyantu means your consciousness asking for sukh for everyone. Sarve santu nirama. Everybody should be healthy. You're like, it's a clarion call from your consciousness that everybody should be happy, healthy, as like, or happy. But हम prayer है तो बोल देते हैं हम लोग. That's what भगवान is saying. यह पश्यति स पश्यति. जो ऐसा देखता है वो देखता है. बाकी तो it's just like you are. Many times we look at something and we are thinking something else, and somebody will ask, "Did you see a car passing?" No, I don't remember. Yeah, I was looking at the road, but I don't, because we're somewhere else. I'm not seeing that, right? So sapashyati. So Bhagavan says this person doesn't lose the sight of Atma in everything. It's simple statement. In everything. Of course, material world also we say everything is Bhagavan, Atma, but at least we can start with the human being and animals and plants. That much we can do. Forget about going to that level, everything is, but as a human being, as a primary sadhak, or maybe we are all kind of primary sadhak, at least we can start with our friends, our neighbors, family members, community members, animals, plants, trees, which is visible to us. Can we have that yah pashyati sa pashyati? Sab mein ek hi Paramatma dekhe. That's what Bhagavan is saying. And Bhagavan says that is the Jnani. So that is a Kshetragya. Kshetragya means the one who knows the Kshetra. Knows the Kshetra means knowing the essence of the Kshetra. And essence of the Kshetra is Sachidananda Atma. Sabke andar wo hi hai. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. And then he'll continue till the end, expansion of this. And at the end, Bhagavan will conclude. So again, same thing. We need to understand in all of us. And Arjuna asked question also, what is Prakriti and Purush? Purush and Kshetragya is the same thing. The two different philosophies are there, Dvait, Advait. They use the term. Sankhya use Purush, and our like Vedanta use Kshetragya or Paramatma or Brahman. Sankhya use Purush, but same thing. So Arjuna asked, like, can you explain? And Bhagavan has kept explaining. So now he is saying that the goal is, you are Kshetragya. We'll see at the end. Bhagavan says, example also, metaphor. Bhagavan is good in metaphor, so he'll give metaphor of Surya and one of the shlok at the end. And that is you. So that's what Bhagavan is bringing to, right? So again, whenever we see anything material, if the essence of this chapter, this teaching, very profound teaching, anytime which is material, which is Kshetra, the Kshetra is there because there is a Kshetragya, which is, so there are two elements in everything. One is impermanent, which is Kshetra, and one is permanent, which is because of which, like if I see a light bulb, I know light bulb has an expiration date. It's just it's like a little manufacturing product of filament and glass. That's it. That's light bulb. There's a filament, there is a glass, and there is a plastic holder. That's light bulb. It's all material. But still it lights up. It lights up because there is electricity behind light bulb. Other light bulb is sitting in the Home Depot, doesn't light up on its own. They're all sitting light bulbs. There is electricity needed. And this person sees both. See, here is a bulb, but bulb has electricity. That's why it is called light bulb. Otherwise, it's just piece of glass or a filament and everything. And that is Bhagavan says, Yah pashyati sa pashyati. we should have that vision in our life also. That's what the whole teaching, the examples are given, but the teaching is that, can I have that vision? और ये vision हो जाए तो all these every day these young boys 2024 go around and use the gun and kill police officers and school kids. Why? Because there's no vision of life. There's no vision in divine, like the life of the vision of divine in everyone. That's the reason all this violence and all those things happening. Yeah, that's what the whole teaching is about. And I mean, anyway, when I see those things, I a little bit become emotional. But yeah, that's the reason we need that teaching. So yeah, we'll go to 28th Shlok. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra.
समम पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र
Samavasthitam Ishwaram
समवस्थितम् ईश्वरम्
hinasti atmana atmanam
न हिनस्त्यात्मनात्मानं
tatah yati param gatim.
ततो याति पराम गतिम, क्योंकि वह पुरुष सब में समभाव से स्थित हुए परमेश्वर को समान देखता हुआ अपने द्वारा आप को नष्ट नहीं करता है, इससे वह परम गति को प्राप्त होता है। और अपने आप को अपने द्वारा अपने आप को नष्ट नहीं करता, उसकी टिप्पणी में लिखा है, अर्थात शरीर का नाश होने से अपने आत्मा का नाश नहीं मानता है।
Seeing indeed the same Bhagavan dwelling equally everywhere, he does not destroy the self by the self. He then reaches the supreme goal.
Yeah,
Okay.
so again, that the whole thing is samam pashyan, like the samadrashti. And samadrashti means everything has atma. So, and I also have atma. Now this is a very, see, this we have to, all these shlok are given in the backdrop of sadharma. We have to remember, we are not just doing academic exercise here. We can do philosophy in Bhagavad Gita and PhD and no, the goal we should not forget, which Bhagwan is also very clear. He reminds Arjuna again and again. I am not just for the sake of I am teaching you. The goal is, the backdrop is sadharma. That is the backdrop. Like अगर पीछे ऐसा assume करें कि भगवत गीता स्टेज पे चल रही है, अर्जुन भगवान is teaching, the backdrop there is a big banner or big like screen which says Swadharma. That you should not forget. So Bhagavan is saying, now Arjun's problem is that I am going to kill Bhishma, I am going to kill these people. He said, no, Atma, they are also Atma, you are also Atma. Atma doesn't get killed or Atma doesn't kill. So you are not doing it, Arjun. Atma cannot do that, right? Because Atma's swabhav is not to kill. That's what he's saying. Na hinasti atmana atmanam na hinasti. Atma cannot kill Atma. I mean, there are two bulbs, two electricity. Electricity cannot cut each other. Electricity is just one. It is projected in bulb in a different way. So that's so Bhagavan is saying, don't worry, Arjun. And that is the reason this Shlok Bhagavan has brought that. So we should not forget Swadharma in the backdrop. And that's what the teaching is, that let's keep Swadharma as the topmost priority. But since you are confused that if I am doing my Swadharma, I'm going to do the Hinsa or I'm... No. He's saying, you're not doing it. Because that's the teaching. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. Atma doesn't kill Atma. I cannot. Atma's nature is not to kill. It is the body which anyway is supposed to die. And body has its own law of karma, and there is a principle working behind. So you are following that. So you are not destroying the system as long as you follow the system. Duryodhana is not following. That is adharma. But you are towards dharma. So don't worry about that. Right? It is for the people like Arjun. This teaching is not for Duryodhana. Duryodhana will take this teaching in a wrong way then. So teaching is only for Arjun. And that's the reason when Mahabharata, if you watch, the Bhagavan was talking to Arjun, and Duryodhana was saying, there is a scene that Pitama, what are you waiting for? I mean, they are just talking, just start the war. And Bhishma says, oh, keep quiet. First time I'm feeling that why I'm not born as Kunti Putra Arjun, why I'm born as Ganga Putra Bhishma. If I was Arjun, I could have heard what he is saying. He says, you Chupra Putra, there is something which I want to hear. What is he saying? He's saying something very profound. And that's the reason Bhagavan said in the Yuddha Kshetra this teaching. And this is applied in life also. We should not get disturbed while performing the Swadharma. So Swadharma and Atma Gyan, they go together. Once I know who am I, then I my Swadharma, there is no conflict. अभी हम सबको conflict क्या होता है जो अर्जुन को हो रहा था, because we are not clear about that. Both, who am I, Atma Gyan and Swadharma. That's why there is that's a conflict, nothing else. And that's what Bhagavan is saying here. So we'll go to the next look. Prakriti cha karmani
प्रकृत्यैव च कर्माणि
क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः
क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः
यः पश्यन्ति तथा आत्मानं
य पश्यति तथात्मानम्
अकर्तारं स पश्यति
अकर्तारं स पश्यति। और जो पुरुष संपूर्ण कर्मों को सब प्रकार से प्रकृति से ही किए हुए देखता है तथा आत्मा को अकर्ता देखता है, वही देखता है। और पहले देखता का टिप्पणी में है, अर्थात इस बात को तत्व से समझ लेता है कि प्रकृति से उत्पन्न हुए संपूर्ण गुण ही गुणों में बरतते हैं।
He who sees all action as performed by Prakriti alone, and also the self as actionless, he sees.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
14th chapter we already we'll see, but we have seen once. So the whole goal is guna guneshu vartante. That's many times. So it is all the nature which is working. Rajo gun, tamo gun, sattva gun, we saw that. And you are bound by that. And your job is to balance them. But if you're not balancing, you're driven by those gun. If there is a sattva gun, you're driven by sattva gun. So Bhagavan is saying, this person knows that there is a gun. And then the sadhana is to go to sattva gun. And Atma is akartaram. Atma is not the doer. That's the very clear, that's the underlying current of that teaching. Atma doesn't do anything. It is all because of law of karma. You're born as a Kshatriya, you're born as a son of Pandu. That's why you're doing this. All of us, we call it in Hindu, very well defined in Sanatana Dharma. We call it Varna Ashram Vyavastha. Varna means the skill, and Ashram means Grahastha Ashram, Vanaprastha Ashram, or Brahmacharya Ashram, or Sannyasa Ashram. And there is a Varna Vyavastha. Varna means skill. You're good in speaking, you're good in doing something else. So use those two, Varna and Ashram, and perform the duty. And that's what Bhagavan is saying. But Atma is a Kartaram. Atma is that illuminator which provides you, guides you. But Atma doesn't do anything. You do that as made of Prakriti. So, and that person sees. So let's not blame I mean, the bottom line is Bhagavan, Atma means Bhagavan. Bhagavan kuch nahi karte hain, aap karte hain. Bhagavan is the guiding force. That's what he said earlier also. We'll read 30th slok. All 3-4 slok are very similar till the last one, yeah. Yada bhut prathak bhavam
यथा भूत पृथक भावम
एकस्थम अनुपश्यति
एकस्तमनुपश्यति
ततः एव च विस्तारम
तत एव च विस्तारम
ब्रह्म संपद्यते
तदा। और वह पुरुष जिस काल में भूतों के न्यारे न्यारे भाव को एक परमात्मा के संकल्प के आधार स्थित देखता है तथा उस परमात्मा के संकल्प से ही संपूर्ण भूतों का विस्तार देखता है, उस काल में सच्चिदानंद घन ब्रह्म को प्राप्त होता है।
When he perceives the diversified existence of beings as rooted in one and spreading forth from that alone, then he becomes Brahman.
So this is nothing but the 10th chapter. Entire 10th chapter was this, 10th and 11th. Bhagavan has told in 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, I am in everything. And he gave example, Himalaya, Ganga, I am in Ganga, I am in Himalaya, I am in Arjun, I am in Vasudeva Krishna, I am in Bhishma, everything. And the 11th chapter says, everything is in me. And we saw that everything, including Mrityu and Janma. He says everything. So that's what he is saying, that everything is an expansion of Bhagavan. So the message here, why he is saying to Arjun, if you have that understanding, you are tada brahma sampadhyate. That means if you have that understanding, means sab Bhagavan ka hai, jaise hum log like we always say we don't follow, but we say, or Ramji ki marji, is like that. We keep saying that. भगवान की मर्जी, वो हम सब बोलने के लिए बोल देते हैं, बट दैट्स व्हाट द इंटेंट हियर इज. इफ दैट कम्स फ्रॉम दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट कि सभी भगवान कर रहे हैं, देन आई एम नेवर फ्रस्ट्रेटेड एंड आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू ब्लेम एनीवन. अभी राइट नाउ वी प्ले द ब्लेम गेम, राइट? किसी और ने किया, मतलब मेरे फ्रेंड ने किया या नेबर नेबर ने किया, रिलेटिव ने किया. भगवान से एवरीथिंग इज वर्किंग. परमात्मा मीन्स भगवान कुछ नहीं कर रहा, बट द सिस्टम इज डन. So don't get entangled into that I am doing, because you are then same thing, a karta. So when Atma is a karta means you are that Atma which is a karta. You are not doing it. Don't even blame yourself. जैसे हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, हमारे यहाँ साधु संत से सत्व गुण जब बढ़ जाता है तो गिल्ट भी खत्म हो जाता है, because I'm not doing anything. It is happening through me. Even if, I mean, we can all make mistakes, but Bhagavan is saying, and that is what the message here is, that just ऐसा is the expansion of Bhagavan, the whole world, right? So that person stays in Brahman means Anand, or you remain free of all those limitations. Basically, we are all limited beings. That's why हम लोग परेशान होते हैं. And the next one is little expansion of the same thing. अनादित्वात् निर्गुणत्वात्
अनादित्वा निर्गुणत्वात्
परमात्मा अयम् अव्ययः
परमात्मायं व्ययः
शरीरस्थ अपि कौन्तेय
शरीरस्थो अपि कौन्तेय
न करोति न लिप्यते.
न करोति न लिप्यते. हे अर्जुन, अनादि होने से और गुणातीत होने से यह अविनाशी परमात्मा शरीर में स्थित हुआ भी वास्तव में न करता है और न लिपायमान होता है.
Being without beginning or gunas, this supreme self, imperishable, though dwelling in the body, O Kaunteya, neither acts nor is tainted.
Yeah, so same thing. So Bhagavan again and again says that Bhagavan is giving here the Paramatma within the body. Paramatma is nothing but this Atma. So Bhagavan is saying Atma is not the doer. It is just, again, varnashram or karma, law of karma. I am doing all because of previous vasanas, previous sanskar, previous prarabdha. All this is happening because of that. So, but what Bhagavan is saying, why the Atma doesn't dip? If you go back to the 6th chapter and 14th chapter, Bhagavan says Gunatit Bhavarjun. There is a term we'll see in the 14th. So the goal, all Sattvagun, Rajogun, Tamogun make you to do. But once you become Gunatit, transcend, then guns don't affect you. Then you are like Jivan Mukt. You will still doing everything, but with unattached. अभी तो हम लोग ऊपर ऊपर बोलते हैं, but अंदर से we all feel, right? But this person, when it becomes Gunatit, and that is called Atma Gyan. I realize that Atma Gyan means I am Atma, I am not this Sharir. And then I'll continue to work. Like Krishna Bhagavan is a classic example himself. He's doing everything. But he's Atma Gyani. He's involved in war and everything, dancing or whatever Bhagavan does. But he is not unattached. Right? He's not. And then we'll give next week, there will be a metaphor next time. So Bhagavan is saying, yeah, so body has body has its course. It's born, it's getting old, it becomes sick and dies, but not Atma. So that understanding, I mean, this already Bhagavan has explained this. He's just repeating the same thing again and again. The main thing is, शरीर में स्थित आत्मा कुछ नहीं करता है. शरीर has its course because of the prarabdha, because of previous vasanas and gunadharma vyavastha. The only chance given to, that's why there is a shlok I repeat many times, ahar nidra bhay mathunam cha saman etat pashubhi naranam dharmo hi tesham or viveko hi tesham adhiko vishesho vivek hina pashubhi samana. That means ahar nidra bhay mathun. Ahar means eating, nidra means sleeping, bhay means fear, insecurity feeling, mathunam means procreation. All these four are common in animals and human beings. All four. We sleep, we eat, we have procreation, we have fear. Ekdam common. Animals have the same thing. The only thing, vivek hi tesham adhiko vishesho. One vivek is one quality, which is additional in human being, which is not in animal. Animal have no vivek. Animal go by instinct. And Bhagavan says, our Rishi says the Subhashita, if you don't use vivek, then you are, so vivekihina pashuvi samana, then you are like pashu. It is not they are degraded, but you are like an animal, right? Because you don't use vivek. So vivek is given us to rise above this. And then life will be jivan mukt. Then even if you do swadharma, you will not be committing those, you think, pap or punya. That's what Gita mein shlok aata hai. There's no pap punya for a jivan mukt. Swadharma is the key. So when you understand swadharma, the pap punya is, you overcome pap punya. That's what he's saying. So we'll go to the 32nd shlok, right? Yatha sarvagata sokshamyat
यथा सर्वगतम क्षौक्षम्यात्
akasham nalip upalipyate
आकाशम नोपलिप्यते
सर्वस्थात् सर्वावस्थितो देहे
सर्वत्रावस्थितो देहे
तथात्मा नोपलिप्यते
तथात्मा नोपलिप्यते। तो जिस प्रकार सर्वत्र व्याप्त हुआ भी आकाश सूक्ष्म होने के कारण लिपायमान नहीं होता है, वैसे ही सर्वत्र देह में स्थित हुआ भी आत्मा गुणातीत होने के कारण देह के गुणों से लिपायमान नहीं होता है।
As the all-pervading space is not tainted due to its subtlety, so the self seated in the body everywhere is not tainted.
Yeah, so in this two shlok, before Bhagavan concludes, Bhagavan has given two metaphors. And we'll read the next shlok also and then summarize both together. There are two metaphors. Yatha prakashatekah kratsnam
यथा प्रकाश यत्येक कृष्णम
lokam imam ravihi
लोकमिबं रविः
kshetram kshetri tatha kratsnam
क्षेत्रं क्षेत्री तथा कृत्स्नम
prakashayati bharata.
प्रकाशयति भारत। हे अर्जुन, जिस प्रकार एक ही सूर्य इस संपूर्ण ब्रह्मांड को प्रकाशित करता है, उसी प्रकार एक ही आत्मा संपूर्ण क्षेत्र को प्रकाशित करता है, अर्थात नित्य बोधस्वरूप एक आत्मा का ही सत्ता से संपूर्ण जड़ वर्ग प्रकाशित होता है।
As the one sun illumines the whole world, so does the Kshetri illumine the whole Kshetra, O Bharata.
Yeah, so there are two metaphors given. First shlok, Bhagavan is talking about space. And we know that there is we say I'm flying from India to America. I'm flying, this is aeroplane is flying, right? So aeroplane is flying, but what is not flying? It is space. It's all relative. So whenever there is a movement is always related to something which is non-moving. That's why there is a movement. If everything is moving, then you feel like things are moving. If the two trains are going in the same direction, we used to do like that, right? When there is a next train going same speed, then you see nothing is moving. You stand still. Only thing when there is a crisscross, there is things are moving at the speed. So Bhagavan is saying, and we saw that 24 shloka, second chapter, Achalo ayam sanatana. This Atma is Achalo ayam sanatana. It doesn't, Achal means it doesn't move. So Bhagavan is giving a metaphor here. The example, very nice. Both. So it is like space is non-moving. Everything moves within space. And we see the entire universe, all the planets and all those stars, they are moving. There is a gravitational, we can see those wonderful videos of stars. I like that astronomy. Things are moving, but moving on non-moving space. There is one space where everything is moving. So Bhagavan is giving the metaphor, the Atma is like that. Just now we can imagine, right? Within us, there is an Atma which is unmoving. Everything is moving. My thoughts are moving, my body, my sanskar, I'm seeing, eyes are doing something. But because of there is unmoving Atma, in the presence of that unmoving, if there is no space, then everything will collapse. So there is a space which holding everything, which space is unmoving and no lipyate, untouched. And we know that, right? If there is, I have a candle or maybe agarbatti or like the sandalwood I am burning here. There is a smell. So, but if the candle, the agarbatti or whatever scented scent is gone, then space is same. Space will never remain all like fragrance. So fragrance in the air for the temporary period. Space is untouched. And there are numerous examples like the bottle. The bottle, when you fill something, maybe they give example of one bottle has alcohol, one bottle has a Ganga Jal. If you clean the bottle and look at the space, it doesn't say that there was alcohol and there was a Ganga Jal. The bottle space doesn't say, it doesn't matter, right? So Bhagavan says that's the way sarvatra sthito. Our body has that Atma, which is unaffected. But because of that, I'm doing everything. And that's the goal. Once I realize that I have that Atma which is pure, unimpacted, and I'm not impacted by anything, then there is a joy. There is a Jivan Mukti. And then I say, oh yeah, it doesn't affect me. All what is happening is guna guneshu vartante. There is a principle of guna karma vibhag, which we have seen in Bhagavad Gita many times. And it is like discussed many times in various ways. All like Buddhist philosophy, Jain teaching, every Sikh teaching, everybody talks about, even now the Western world is started talking about law of karma and everything. They also realize that these people have defined it very well. Let's say accept it. Everybody talks about karma in all sports player, football player, Hollywood, everybody is talking about karma. उनको लगा कि ये तो ठीक ही है. Look at that, how subtly this whole principle of karma is accepted by everyone. Everyone. So even Pope one time, I think somewhere I saw he was saying that it is all the karma like that, because they said this is well defined by the Hindu rishis, right? So that principle is working, but that Atma is impact. So if I realize that that principle will work, I'll have my prarabdha, everything, gain, losses. That's why Bhagavan says, labha labha jaya jayo in Gita mein, samatvam yoga uchyate. Equanimity, whatever comes, it's fine. Like so that's what Bhagavan is saying. And the second example, Bhagavan says, Yatha prakashatyeka kratsnan lokam ravi, like sun. Sun illuminates everything, but sun is untouched. And the very simple example we used to read in the childhood also. When sunlight comes, there some people might commit a murder, which we see in America all the time. And it's very frequent these days. Some people may be doing a puja. Some people might be doing a theft. Some people might be doing something illegitimate activity. But sun doesn't get impacted and sun doesn't decide. So same thing, Atma says, I'm available. It is your sattvagun, rajogun, tamogun. It is your behavior. We'll see 16th chapter talks about those qualities also. That is your property. Accountability, and that's what there is a 5th chapter, there is a shlok which a lot of people says, Bhagavan says, that shlok says, anyway, shlok will come to you, but Bhagavan says, I don't partake in your karma and the karma phal both. I don't partake. I mean, there is na adatte vibhu, kartratvam na karmani. Yeah, karmani na kartatvam. So vibhu means Bhagavan doesn't partake. Bhagavan is the guiding principle, not participating element. Accountability is your own. That's why अर्जुन को भगवान ने पूछा था आखिरी में, गीता में बाद में बोलेंगे आखिरी में, यथा इच्छसि तथा कुरु. I have given you all the knowledge, now do whatever you want to do. Your choice. So exactly Bhagavan, same thing, giving example of Kshetragya, like a sun. It illumines everything, doesn't matter. But it is all up to us, Kshetra, to utilize that Kshetragya. Presence in within us. कहीं बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं, किसी महाराज के पास या किसी के पास, some magician people do, और इंडिया में तो तंत्र वंत्र भी होता है, कोई अंगूठी और कोई ज्योतिष. गीता इज वेरी क्लियर. कहाँ कहाँ जाना है? It's all inside, right? You have to realize, and that's all the Atma Jnana, self-realization. So Bhagavan is saying, but at the same time, Atma is, there is a story, right? One person says that everything is within me is Atma. So everything is done by Atma, is the guiding principle. So he did some chori or something like that, and then he was caught and he was taken to the court. So Raja, whatever the judge was there, he said, I heard you are a Vedanti, right? You do Gita classes and all that. What are you doing? He said, no, I'm not doing anything. Atma is guiding me. So I did the theft. तो अब मैंने तो कुछ किया नहीं, तो आत्मा ने गाइड किया, मैंने कर दिया. तो उन्होंने कहा ओके कोई बात. उन्होंने लेके आओ स्लैश, गिव हिम 50 स्लैशेस, राइट, 50 विप्स. ही सर, मेरे को जब 2-4 पड़े तो ज़्यादा चोट लगने लगी. तो उन्होंने कहा कि हम तो शरीर को मार रहे हैं, आत्मा को थोड़ी मार रहे हैं. तो आप, योर शरीर इज बीइंग गेटिंग विप्ड, योर आत्मा इज स्टिल अनटेंटेड, राइट, हैप्पी. नो 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 नो, ऐसा इस तरह का ज्ञान नहीं है कि कुछ भी कर रहे हैं और आत्मा को ब्लेम कर रहे हैं. दैट रियलाइजेशन, आत्मज्ञान. एंड दैट्स व्हाट भगवान से, like, and then last shlok he'll conclude everything. Wonderful shlok 34, and I think we are good on time also. So he gave the metaphor like sur and space, untainted, unimpacted, same thing atma. But then what is final? What is the result of all this teaching? That's 34 shlok. Kshetragyo evam
क्षेत्रज्ञोरेवम्
antaram jnana chakshusha
अंतरम ज्ञान चक्षुषा
भूत प्रकृति मोक्षम च ये
भूत प्रकृति मोक्षम च
विदुर्यान्ति ते परम
विदुर्यान्ति ते परम. इस प्रकार क्षेत्र और क्षेत्रज्ञ के भेद को तथा विकार सहित प्रकृति से छूटने के उपाय को जो पुरुष ज्ञान नेत्रों द्वारा तत्व से जानते हैं, वे महात्मा जन परब्रह्म परमात्मा को प्राप्त होते हैं. और भेद क्षेत्र और क्षेत्रज्ञ के भेद में टिप्पणी है, क्षेत्र को जड़, विकारी, क्षणिक और नाशवान तथा क्षेत्रज्ञ को नित्य, चेतन, अविकारी और अविनाशी जानना ही उनके भेद को जानना है.
They who, with the eye of wisdom, perceive thus the distinction between Kshetra and Kshetragya and the liberation of beings from Prakriti, they go to the Supreme.
Okay, so it looks like very simple. The only thing you need to know what is Kshetra, what is Kshetragya, and you are that Kshetragya. Tattvamasi Shwetaketu. Like the teaching is that, oh, भगवान को ढूंढना, कहीं ढूंढना नहीं है. You are that. But that realization, इसमें जो impediment है, जो obstacle है, this teaching is very simple. भूत प्रकृति मोक्षम. ये जो प्रकृति, जो माया, it's like प्रकृति is maya, the same thing. It is like maya. That you have to liberate yourself from that maya first. So there are two things here. One is you need to have vivek. Vivek means that's what I say. Viduh means vivek, tattva se janna. Tattva means, Gita is very clear about tattva. Tattva means essence. So you know the difference between, so kshetra we know it is impermanent, it is perishable. Kshetragya, which is atma, which is imperishable, which is pure, which is always there. But the obstacle is that bhut maya. We are entangled into maya. Maya means, again, like ichhaएं, desires, vasanas. So this is the practice. Just by knowing this knowledge ki kshetra, samajh mein aa gaya, like the thief. I know I am not this body, Atma is driving me, no. That is just not this is accumulation of knowledge, not assimilation. So we have to remove that impediment, and that is Maya. That is, we'll see 14, that's why 14th chapter will come after this. 14th chapter will tell what is that Bhuta Prakriti Moksha. Moksha means freedom. Opposite of moksha is bandhan. So Bhagavan what is saying, Bhuta Prakriti Bandham Moksham. The bondage of that Prakriti, which Maya, you have to get the freedom from that bondage together. Vivek to hona hi hai, lekin saath mein ye, that is a sadhan. And somebody is born at 5 years of age, Shankaracharya can be, because maybe previous birth he has done the sadhan. It is not like falling from the sky. So that is the whole teaching which 14th chapter will talk about. It is one of my favorite chapter 14. The 14th chapter tells us how to overcome that Maya, that Prakriti, Teen Guna. And so there is a share, I love it, right? Maya means ichhaएं, वासनाएं, like ए इंसान तू ख्वाहिशों के बोझ में क्या क्या कर रहा है, इतना तो जीना भी नहीं था जितना तू मर रहा है. कितनी बार मर गए इच्छाओं के लिए, एक बार जीना है, राइट? ए इंसान, तू ख्वाहिशों के बोझ में क्या क्या कर रहा है, इतना तो जीना भी नहीं था जितना तू मर रहा है. दैट इज माया. एंड भगवान इज वेरी क्लियर, अनलेस वी गेट ओवर माया, any amount of teaching, any amount of knowledge I can gather, but it's not going to liberate me. Jivan Mukti we cannot be. And that Jivan Mukti is the goal. And so it is not about knowing more. It is about knowing that Maya Jal, which is 14th chapter, very nice, we'll come to. सब कुछ सीखा हमने ना सीखी होशियारी, सच है दुनिया वालों के हम हैं अनाड़ी. क्या आप गाना लिखा है शैलेंद्र ने? He's saying Anadi means, the whole movie, if you watch, Anadi means not person who doesn't know. The person who is not attached to the world. That is Anadi. That's what he is saying. Shailetra. बड़ा प्यारा गाना है. दिल का चमन उजड़ते देखा, प्यार का रंग उतरते देखा, हमने हर जीने वाले को धन दौलत पे मरते देखा, दिल पे मरने वाले मरेंगे भिखारी, सब कुछ सीखा हमने ना सीखी होशियारी. भिखारी से मतलब यहाँ पर बेगर नहीं है, भिखारी से मतलब जीवन मुक्त है. शैलेंद्र जैसे लोग जो गाने लिखते हैं तो ही दे यूज द टर्म विच इज लोकल, एवरीबडी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बट ही इज सेइंग दिल पे मरने वाले मरेंगे जीवन मुक्त. जो द पीपल हु लिव ऑन दोस इमोशंस और सत्वगुण, they'll लाइक दैट. अदरवाइज दिल का चमन उजड़ते देखा, प्यार का रंग उतरते देखा, हमने हर जीने वाले को धन दौलत पे मरते देखा. दैट इज माया जाल. दैट्स व्हाट द शायर से, कितनी बार मरोगे एक जीवन में. So that's what Bhagavan is saying. So the key here is, which will be segue to the 14th chapter. ये भूत प्रकृति मोक्षम. And then of course, Gyan Chakshusha Vida. Then you have to have that Gyan. Chakshusha means that vision of vision, basically. So then only you will be Jivan Mukt or Shahanshah. तो हमारे स्वामी राम तीर्थ, he is from Punjab. He used to call himself Shahanshah. वो अपने आप को राम बादशाह या शहनशाह, वो तो राम बादशाह ही बोलते थे, राम शहनशाह. तो ही यूज्ड टू से आई एम बादशाह, आई एम शहनशाह, बिकॉज आई डोंट नीड एनीथिंग. द मोमेंट यू नीड समथिंग, यू आर अ बेगर, यू आर नॉट शहनशाह. सो दैट्स व्हाट. सो द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ सेम थिंग यहाँ जो बताया, भूत प्रकृति मोक्ष. भूत प्रकृति में चाह, इच्छाएं. सो ही, उनका एक बड़ा प्यारा शेर है, क्या, चाह, चाह मीन्स इच्छा. चाह गिराती, चाह गिराती, चाह तोड़ती, चाह नीचों में नीच, तू तो शहनशाह था जो चाह न होती बीच. यू आर शहनशाह में जीवन मुक्त. ये चाह इज द प्रॉब्लम. द होल दिस वर्ड, मूल भूत प्रकृति, भूत प्रकृति इज माया, देयर इच्छाएं, देयर डिजायर्स. सो ज्ञान, they go together. I mean, that's a very different story. Somebody can get Buddha type, but Buddha ko bhi, we know the story. Buddha did 6 years of severe penance, severe. रात को जगते थे, and there were animals around him and snakes, and he kept doing sadhana. And then after one day, he Niranjana Nadi river is still there, Bharat mein, Bihar mein. One day he was taking bath in the Niranjana river after doing all 6 years of severe penance, and he was so weak that he could not come out of that river. And he said, "What happened to me?" And that's a realization. He said, I cannot even come out of this river. How I'm going to come out of this bhavasansar? Bhavasansar means the ocean of sansar. That weak I am, and that's the realization. He said, no, all this sadhana is not needed. There is something more needed. And then he sat down under the tree, and then he got the realization that day. Oh, it is not about torturing the body. It is about knowing. And that's why he called it bodh. So that bodh is just overcoming the maya. And that is, I think that's with very nice Bhagavan end this chapter, that Jnana Chakshusha. So and Kshetragya is the Gyan, basically. That's what in the beginning of the chapter Arjun talked about, what is Gyan. So Bhagavan sees. So we'll do our, enter into the process of Dhyan. Again, the purpose is to overcome the Maya. Maya is nothing but, more we are body identifying ourselves, more Maya will capture us. More. That is principle. And that's the reason our Dhyan we karte hain, that we move ourselves from that 5 senses. Because those 5 senses will interact with the world and capture. बाहर से ही सब कुछ आता है, And that's the purpose of ध्यान का भी जो process है, it's a process. It is not ध्यान. It's a technique. ध्यान तो there is no nothing like ध्यान. It's a resultant. जैसे त्याग का है, there is nothing like त्याग. त्याग is a so ध्यान is a byproduct. We have to use the word sentence बनाने पड़ते. Otherwise, there is nothing like dhyan. It is the technique we have to use and reach to dhyan. So we'll do that, but before that, and one of the method which Bhagavan has also said in the Bhagavad Gita, and all our teachers says, the only one to overcome Maya is one of the easiest way, satsang. That's what we are doing. Swadhyaya. Find the company of right people, because that's where we polish ourselves. That's actually the sadhana. So we'll do our dhyan, but Shankaracharya is wonderful. That we'll keep in the mind. Satsangatve nissangatvam, nissangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischaltatvam, nischaltatve jivana mukti, bhaj govindam, bhaj govindam. So satsang will give to nissangatvam, detachment, vairagya. Vairagya overcome the nirmohatvam, delusion goes. When the vairagya comes, delusion already goes. And when the delusion is gone, Nishchal Tattvam, you see that Atma Tattvam. Nishchal Tattvam is Atma Tattvam, self-realization. And Nishchal Tattva Jivan Mukti, when you have Atma Gyan or Atma Tattvam, you know who I am, that Jivan Mukti, then you're free. Nothing binds me. Shahanshah. Right? Tu to Shahanshah tha jo chaah na hoti beech. So with that, I think we'll stop here, and then let's get into our last phase of Sanidhya of Bhagwan. Rather than meditation, it is Sanidhya of Bhagwan. We are in the presence of Bhagwan by doing that. So, so again, all the five senses, we'll keep the focus on tip of the nostril. Think of Prithvi Tattva. Shift focus to the tongue and think of Jal Tattva, which is the second element and the second sense of perception. You move to the eyes, which is the third sense of perception, and Agni is the Tattva. Bring the image of Agni, Bhagwan, Surya Bhagwan. Shift focus to the skin and feel the Vayu Tattva, Pavan Devta. Shift focus to the ears and think of space. We talked about space. That's what Bhagwan gave example. Space is like Atma. So space is within me, space is outside of me. That's a metaphor Bhagwan has used, right? So think of space which is untented, and because of that, everything stays in harmony. And so now we think that I am not this body, I am not these senses, not even the mind. And when we do this, all the thought, mind interacts with through these senses to the outside world. When these senses are shut down, mind automatically shut down. And there will be some lingering thoughts. So at this time, I am that Sakshi Chaitanya Atma, which is the essence of this chapter. Bhagavan says, as sun illumines the entire world, so this Kshetragya illumines the entire body, mind, and senses. All our consciousness is illumined by this Sakshi Chaitanya. And at this time, I can observe the mind also, which is kind of thoughtless or very less thoughts. By practice over the time, we realize that the mind is also quiet. When the mind is quiet, the only thing remains is that illuminating sun or Chaitanya Atma, Sakshi Chaitanya. And that is Tattvamasi, that is you. Shwetaketu, that Rishi says, right? And Bhagavan says, do the Brahma Vichar means Yuktasi to Matpara, he says, surrender to me or sit in my presence. And my means Bhagavan and me same at this stage. That unchanging awareness. Kshetragya. We will take the last shlok which Arjun says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Nashto moha smati labdha tat prasadat maya achyut Sthitosmi gat sandeha karishye vachanam tav. My doubts are gone. I am doubtless now, and I regain my nature, which is Kshetragya. Karishye vachanam tav. I do pranam to you, Bhagavan. Holy Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. Hari Om. Yes, we'll continue next time with 14th chapter, which is